Greetings adventurers, this is Lorne, your guild advisor, back from a somewhat of an absence from DanMemo itself, but we're back at it with some DanMemo news. I said that I would be taking it a bit easy on DanMemo, but there is a special occasion, it being an actual Valentine's event. Last year, we had a Goblin Slayer collaboration, and that got in the way of actually doing a traditional Valentine event, so it's actually been quite some time since the game has had a proper Valentine's event, and we're finally getting it now. So let's go over all the news. So we got a new title screen and theme song coming up, and this is the teaser image for it. As you can see, it's a wholesome wintry photo with Wienie and Belle. It's not Valentine themed, and it says the game images are still in development. And since the live stream happened earlier today, that makes me think that we're not going to see this quite yet. But the new theme song is called Hoshizora, and it will be sung by Wienie's voice actress Rina Hideka. So that should be cool to see on the main menu whenever that does come. I'm not sure if it's going to come with the latest game update or not, because again, it says in development. There's no Valentine theme related to this new title screen, so we'll see if we get it with the latest updates or not tomorrow. And next up is a little tease. As you can see here, this is the story quest portion of the game, and you see the Belle episodes, the Eyes episodes, Lafia, and then Ryu. And now they made a new slot for Sword Oratoria stuff. So before they split up the Sword Oratoria anime into different stories for Eyes and Lafia, and they continued adapting Sword Oratoria content by adapting the light novels because the anime hasn't gone past where the first season is. So it looks like they're going to implement Sword Oratoria story quest this way, and it's going to start with the Volume 5 and Volume 6 adaptations they did in the game already. And those past events that are now going to be implemented as story quests were Under Resort Crossing, which covered Sword Oratoria Volume 5, and Turbulent Shore Rondo and A Duo of Sun and Moon, which adapted Volume 6 of Sword Oratoria. So I assume after those two were added as story quests, we're going to start getting more Sword Oratoria content past Volume 6 adapted into the game. And that'll help a lot because after Season 3 having ended, there's going to be some need for more content in DanMemo besides like just these original story events. We do have the 4th anniversary coming and a collab planned for sometime this spring, but I think they're going to start adapting more and more of Sword Oratoria because it seems Sword Oratoria is not going to get a second season anytime soon, so it makes sense for them to just continuing the adaptation of the Sword Oratoria light novels through DanMemo itself. But this is just a teaser image for the implementation. We don't know when we're going to be getting that exactly, and it looks like they're also going to be doubling the drop rate of stuff that drops from the Valus quest and the Exilia quest, so a lot easier to gather your resources, and this will be useful for newer players to the game to be able to level up their characters because you need a lot of Valus and Exilia to do all of that. Now let's get into the Valentine event proper. As you can see, we'll be getting Chloe, Anya, Haruhime, Wienie, Lily, Fia, and Ray. And it's titled the Xenos Valentine. And I was curious on how this scenario would work based on how Season 3 ended. And it looks like they did show like a slight teaser during the live stream, and it seems some adventurers like happen upon some of our Xenos friends, Wienie, Fia, and Ray, and they're dressed up in Valentine costumes somehow. I'm not sure how that scenario is going to work, but I'm very interested in how they're going to be making this story involving the Xenos. And I'm curious as to what Chloe and Anya's roles are in this story because they're not really acquainted with the Xenos like Haruhime and Lily are, so we'll see how that works. First we have Sweetheart Dragon Wienie, very cute. Judging by her stats, it looks like she'll be a support type character. That's a nice agility of 1152 at maximum break max area of ascension. And before we get too deep into this, I'd like to take a step aside and thank simhauu on the DanMemo subreddit for these skill translations. I'll leave a link below for that Reddit post so you guys can also see that. Wienie's special arts will be an AoE ultra light magic attack with a temporary magic boost and ultra unguard rate, which will increase the AoE resistance of your allies by 40% for 3 turns. And as for her combat skills, her first skill debuffs your enemy's strength, magic, and dexterity by 35% for 3 turns, and also buffs her own magic, agility, and light attack damage by 50% for 3 turns, and gives her an additional 3 actions of a AoE low light magic attack. Her second skill is an AoE fast mid light magic attack with an ultra uncounter rate, and removes physical resistance and magic resistance buffs from the enemy, excluding assist skills, and also removes from your allies any physical resistance and magic resistance debuffs on them, and again excluding any assist skills. Her third skill is a single target super light magic attack with a temporary magic boost and ultra unguard rate. So lots of utility in Wienie, being able to take away any magic or physical resistance buffs that are on your opponent if you're worried about that, and also removing any of the debuffs that may be on your party. And for a notable passive, she has a bonus 35% dark resistance, an additional 30% damage reduction on her guards, and also a bonus 20% physical resistance and magic resistance. And I don't normally say this stat, but because it's so substantial, she gets an additional 40% magic and agility passively. Normally on other characters it's like 25% or 30%, so I wanted to highlight the fact that it's 40 for Wienie, so maybe making up for the fact that her max magic stat is around 1500, and she also has the Phantasma Killer ability. And we're getting a Familiar Royale coming up next month, so expect Phantasma Killer to be something you want. And then next character is Petite Treat Lily, and they kind of upgraded the particular parts of her character, it seems, for this unit, and that's all I have to say about that. It looks like she'll be a physical attacker with a max strength of 2066 at maximum break, max hero ascension. Her special arts is an AoE ultra light physical attack with a temporary strength boost, and increases the special arts gauge charge gain of her by 100% for 5 turns, so kind of similar to the Idle Eyes. Her special arts will make her increase the special arts gauge charge gain by a lot. And as for her combat skills, her first skill is a single target light resistance and guard rate debuff of 40% for 4 turns, and also gives her an additional 3 actions of a single target low light physical attack. Her second skill is a single target mid light physical attack with a temporary strength boost, and increases her own strength and light attack damage by 60% for 2 turns, so kind of a 120% bonus right there. And her third skill is a single target super light physical attack that will increase in damage by 30% for each self strength and light attack damage buff skill on her, so going between her own buffs and then buffs from your assist characters, that's a total of a 120% damage bonus that can be applied to her in that skill. And she will also increase the status buffs on her character by an additional 2 turns, so you only need to use skill 2 once in an ideal situation where the opponent's not just outright taking off your buffs. And then for a notable passive, she has a 35% bonus dark resistance, does 50% more damage on counters, a 10% MP regen per turn, so that's nice for any high MP costing skills. And then again, that Phantasma Killer ability. The next character is Sweet Tooth Tabby Anya, and she will be a magic attacker by the looks of it. For her special arts, it's an AoE Ultra Thunder magic attack with a temporary magic boost and ultra penetration rate, and decreases magic resistance and endurance by 50% for 2 turns, so a pretty substantial debuff to your opponent's defenses, making your magic team do a lot more damage. And as for her combat skills, her first skill is an AoE fast magic resistance and endurance debuff of 35%, so a lesser debuff from her special arts for 2 turns, and gives herself a 50% penetration rate buff, and also 2 additional actions of a AoE low thunder magic attack. So Anya might be an alternative if you do not have a Lyra, who is a very sought out character for war games if you have a magic team, because she also reduces magic resistance. For Anya's second combat skill, it's an AoE slow super thunder magic attack with a temporary magic boost and ultra penetration rate, and also increases her own magic by 50% for 2 turns. Her third skill is a single target high thunder magic attack with a temporary magic boost and ultra penetration rate. Just a nice little single target skill tossed to her character if you do need a single target attacker. And as for notable passive, she has a bonus 35% earth resistance. Her counterattacks have a ultra penetration rate. She does 15% more damage on penetration, so those two tied together. And also has the Phantasma Killer ability. And of course, next up is her partner, Candied Kitty Chloe. I'm very curious if Chloe is going to be interacting with Belle in this Valentine event, because I am worried for Belle's backside. Anyway, she also is going to be a magic attacker. Her special arts is an AoE Ultra Thunder magic attack with a temporary magic boost and ultra critical rate, and will also increase your allies' critical rate and counter rate by 60% for 2 turns, so pretty substantial. And as for her combat skills, it is a slow removal of any strength, agility, and magic resistance buffs on your opponent's characters. So, say in war games, she does this at the end of the turn, so if your opponent were to use any buffing skills to their strength, agility, or magic resistance, she does this at the end, and if your opponent's AI is set to do those buffs, your opponent will be forced to buff themselves again. It's a very similar tactic to how the Christmas Anakitty is being used in war games right now. And the skill will also give her an additional 3 actions of an AoE low thunder magic attack. Her second skill is an AoE fast high thunder magic attack with an ultra critical rate, and decreases the opponent's dexterity and thunder resistance by 35% for 2 turns, and increases her own thunder attack damage by 90% for 2 turns, so a pretty substantial buff to that thunder attack damage. For her third skill is a single target high thunder magic attack that will increase in damage by 40% for each dexterity debuff on the opponent, so it's a very weird debuff ask. Of course, she does have that dexterity debuff that she can apply, but also requires you to have an assist that decreases dexterity if you want to get the most out of that attack, and it also has an ultra critical rate attached to that skill. And for a notable passive, she has a 35% bonus earth resistance. Her counter attacks have an ultra critical rate, and she does 15% more damage on criticals. So Anya for penetrations, and Chloe for those critical hits to Belle's backside, and the Phantasma Killer ability. And then next up we have Crimson Sweetie Fia. It's so weird how her name is localized as Fear, because it's pronounced Fia in the Japanese, and I feel like that this is a decision, a romanization decision made by the actual Japanese developers, because in the light novel it's spelled F-I-A, which makes sense because it's pronounced Fia. When you see fear and you're an English speaker, you think fear and like you're scared, and this is not anything to be scared about. That mini rant over. It really should be spelled the way it sounds, but whatever. We got Fia here. It reminds me how in Fate Go, Saber's name is spelled Altria when everyone like in English calls her Artoria, but whatever. Let's get on to the actual character. She's an assist character, pretty like average stats around, except for that high agility at 597. At +5 for assist skill, debuffs the opponent's thunder resistance by 20% and increases the single target and AoE resistance of your party by 15%. So good for thunder teams. And then next up for the assist, we have Sweet Vixen Haruhime. I know a lot of people were looking forward to a Valentine Haruhime last year, but again, that Goblin Slayer collab like lasted throughout that entire thing, so we never actually got a Valentine event. And now people are happy getting their Haruhime. And it looks like she'll be a magic-oriented assist with a high magic stat of 654 at +5. Her assist skill at +5 decreases your enemy's endurance by 30% and magic resistance by 20%. So it almost seems like a must-have for any magic-oriented teams, because that's quite the substantial debuff to your opponent's defenses if you're using a magic team. And next up, we have the character I was looking forward to the most out of all these units, Golden Sweetie Ray. They couldn't bother giving her a nice image like the other characters, which makes me kind of mad. It's like they're going, oh, she's the free event character. You can get the +5 just by playing through the event. She doesn't need a special wallpaper. I will not stand for this sacrilege on Ray. She's an awesome character. Anyway, moving on. She has some pretty mediocre stats. A decent HP amount at 1066, but again, she is a free character. You can get the +5 intended for newer players. Even her assist skill reflects at a +5, giving your allies 10% strength and magic. So it is a versatile assist, but definitely not the best assist when it comes to a character you want for just a strength-oriented team or magic-oriented team. And then there's a 10% debuff to your opponents in regards to thunder and light resistance. So definitely just supposed to be an all-around assist to pair with the character's from this event, but again, very mediocre, and I wish Ray got better treatment out of this, but whatever. Anyway, this is the banner layouts. We have Wienie, Fia, and Anya on the first banner with the regular 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th guarantees. And it's called the Love banner, and then the next side is called the Peace banner. It reminds me of, like, it's probably not a Trigun reference, and this world is made of love and peace. And I wonder if any of you actually know what Trigun is, and now I feel old. Anyway, the Peace Gacha is Haruhime, Lily, and Chloe. I don't think I myself am going to max out any of these banners because I am looking more forward to the collaboration, whatever that may be. Who knows what they'll toss out at us with that collab. I think it's planned for spring. That's their intention, and that makes me think, like, what anime is airing in spring? Like, maybe they are doing something that's airing this season. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they choose this time and what they can negotiate. And this is the login bonus. Very nice reward at the very end there, a guaranteed 4-star 11 draw ticket. These are the paid Xenos Valentine bundles. Again, I always warn this, be careful on how much you spend in these gacha games. And then we're going to be getting the once a day Valentine quest. And you can see the art for that Hestia from the Valentine event 2 years ago. I wonder if they're going to rerun that event at any point in time, because I know some people really do want those characters that didn't join until like season 3 happened. So, and you can see the picture I chose below me is the Valentine Ryu from that same event 2 years ago. So people that like Ryu didn't get into the game until after season 3 or during season 3. I hope you do have a chance to get these older characters. But this is the once a day quest to be able to get these basically CP items, Valentine chocolates that you can use on your characters to increase your CP levels. I never use them because I want to keep those chocolates forever from those characters. And as always, 7 Zone is resetting tomorrow night, and we're getting Record Buster Reveria, the Dark variant, tomorrow night as well. An overview of the upcoming schedule. Remember, this is in Japanese Standard Time, so it says January 27th, but it means the 26th, which is the day of this recording, and that's when the version update applies, so it should be happening overnight. And we'll see if we get that new title screen or not. I don't think we are, but we should be getting those drop rate doubles for the Exilier quest and the Valis quest. And then, of course, tomorrow night on the 27th, if you're in America, will be the Valentine event with all the gachas, 7 Zone resetting, and Record Buster. And then the monthly reset for the Hero Light and Iris paid bundle will happen when February starts. And then there's that planned date for the Familia Royale, which is the 4th of February. And remember, the opponents in that Familia Royale are likely to be Phantasma type. And I know, not last Halloween, but the Halloween before last Halloween, so Halloween 2019, we had characters that had the Phantasma killer ability, so you can dig those out, but their intention is definitely for you to pull for these characters from these banners to do well in their Familia Royale. But if you do have a target character from this set of Valentine banners, I do hope you get them. I hope you guys enjoy this upcoming event, and we'll see how many more exciting updates we get down the line. I'm very interested in seeing what that collab is going to be, wondering when that Sword Oratoria stuff is being added into the story quest, because that'll give me a better timeline in my head for when we can expect more Sword Oratoria stuff to be adapted, because the last thing they adapted into the game was the Volume 6 event, and they definitely teased a Volume 7-1 at the very end with the teaser images at the very end of that event. So curious to see when all that new stuff is going to be happening. But that's all I have for you guys for this DanMemo news update. I wish you luck on your rolls. A happy Valentine's Day, even though it's quite early to be saying that. But again, hopefully you're not completely alone, and if you are going to be alone, I hope you do get the characters you are wishing for. But anyway, if you want to see more danmachi content or just light novel content in general, because I'm going to be covering some Tomozaki stuff for the anime and then light novel volume 5, go ahead and sub to the channel, follow me on Twitter, and join the Discord. And as always, continue enjoying your time adventuring in Ario and the dungeon. This is Lauren, your guild advisor, signing out.
渦を巻く雨雲から差し込んだまっすぐな強い光